How do I provide or offer value to my community if I were to run, right? What's the purpose?
So where did your passion for politics really stem from? You said your father was in politics, so was it from that or a different experience in your life?
There are things in our lives that happen beyond our control or maybe what we would imagine. And then the question is, what are you going to do with it?
What's your biggest, deepest passion for, if you do get this mayor position, that you are really going to spread throughout your community?
Hey everyone, welcome to the Tori Cruz Show, where we're shining a light on real conversations and transformational stories with some of the most dynamic entrepreneurs and faith-driven leaders you'll ever meet. I'm Tori Cruz, your host, entrepreneur, virtual stylist, and former Miss Missouri USA, ready to guide you along this exciting journey. This isn't just any podcast. It's your new home for stories that uplift, conversations that transform, and a community that feels like family. From the real challenges to the exhilarating moments of achievement, we cover it all, infused with adventure, laughter, insights, and heartfelt discussions. So settle in, make yourself comfortable, and let's get this show on the road. This is the Tori Cruz Show. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tori Cruz Show. Today we have Crystal Mancilla on the show. She is a native Texan. She's a mother of three. She's a dedicated community member. She has been an entrepreneur and has a history of serving multiple boards. Crystal has been a council member since 2020 and currently serving as interim mayor and currently running as mayor for the upcoming election. Crystal has such an incredible heart to share with not only all of our listeners today, but her community of people in Texas, right there near Austin. And I'm just so excited to dive into this episode. She's such an inspiration for doing good in your community. So without further ado, welcome Crystal to the show.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Tori Cruz Show. I'm so excited to bring to you today's guest. We are sitting in Austin, Texas.
Yes.
And today I have Crystal Mancilla with us, and I'm so excited to share her with you guys because she has such a beautiful heart and a really powerful mission. So welcome, Crystal. I'm so excited you're here.
I'm excited to be here.
Yes.
Fun.
And this is your home city, is Austin, Texas.
I was born in Austin and raised right north of it. This is the area. This is the place to be. There's a lot happening.
Austin is booming right now too.
Crazy insane. The type of growth we had is incredible.
Yes, and so you all heard Crystal's bio. She's extremely accomplished. She's had many different journeys throughout her years of now becoming a politician. And we were talking off camera a little bit, and you were saying, I actually had no idea that this was going to be your path. So
None.
I just would love to start from the beginning. And where did your career journey start?
My career journey as a politician started about 2.5 years ago. I was approached by some local citizens that had asked if I wanted to run, and I actually had never thought about it. For me, politics was never in my trajectory of my life.
Yes.
But I was kind of like, why would they want me? What do they see in me? How do I provide or offer value to my community if I were to run, right? What's the purpose? And it was very interesting because my father, who is a confidant to me and a leader himself, that I went and asked him, what are your thoughts? And he says something really phenomenal to me that I think all of us should think about, is that character and ethics trump anything. The way that we run our lives with character, you can teach policies, procedures, talent, you can teach those things, skills. Yes. But when it comes to character, those are things you can't teach,
Is there something that's very tactical in your life that you have learned through the process, that something about character that just really exemplifies who you are as a person and how you represent your community?
Mm-hmm. So integrity by far, and how I communicate with people, because we know in a community you have lots of different points of views out there. And everyone's voice should be heard.
Yes.
And then listening to everyone with an open heart and open mind, and seeing what really is the best for the community as a whole. Not being biased towards any one decision. And it is something that can be challenging to do. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
There are times when you're like, wait, am I choosing this because this is the way I feel, or personally, or because I feel like it's the best for the whole community? But I think that would be the number one thing that I've grown in, or I've seen is a major importance.
So where did your passion for politics really stem from? You said your father was in politics, so was it from that or a different experience in your life?
So I wouldn't say I had a passion for politics when I ran for city council. That actually grew.
Interesting.
I had a passion for leadership and impact, and that was where my passion to run came in. was because I want to lead. I want to lead strong with integrity, but I also want impact at the same time. And my politics, the love for that grew in the doing of it, in the journey of being on council and seeing how we can impact through policies and ordinances in a very beautiful way.
I love what you just said there, where you said there's power in the doing. And so many times people are wanting this end result, right? Or this end, this really big dream to come to life and this really large impact. What would you suggest to people, during that journey to really enjoy the process and encourage others to actually do before trying to hit that end goal?
Yeah, I think I've been there. We're in the doing, and we're like, this isn't happening fast enough, or we have an idea of where we want to be, right? And we may not see it at that time, or you may be right where you need to be and be seeing it less than what it is. And when I think about my leadership, that grew in being a PTA president and being a mother and learning how to be a mentor with Judge Edna Stout in our Williamson County. That leadership and learning the skills that I need today came through the doing right where I was at. And so for us to be wherever you're at, I would encourage you to not think anything less of yourself right where you're at. If it's a mom, if it's a PTA president, if it's working for someone in a corporate office, lead with integrity, lead to do your best and with excellence, and doors will open. It actually becomes very effortless.
Absolutely. I just want to kind of journey down that process a little bit, where you're a mom of 3.
Yeah.
And you're a career woman.
Yeah.
You inspired the heck out of me, because I'm not a mom yet, right? And I have such a high level of respect for women who are mothers. You're running households. You're, really thriving in your career and making a huge impact in your community. How do you juggle it all?
Well, there are days where the house doesn't get cleaned like I like it to be, and you have to let some things go. I learned the skill of prioritizing. Number one, family's always first. And whenever things get out of order, where you will, I did come to that, where I was starting to see me doing the work was taking more time away from family. And, I had to kind of say, oh, wait, and recalibrate, where my time's being spent. So what I would say is, let some things go that may not be that important. There may be dishes in the sink, you're just going to use the whole weekend to clean. But it is a learning game, learning how to juggle and what best fits you. I know I read so many self-help books.
Yes.
And I just wanted someone to tell me I'm a black and white. Just give me the to-do list. I will do it. But it's individualized, really.
It completely is. Are there any books that you absolutely love in self-help?
Oh, you are going to ask me that right now.
We can always circle back to it.
Yeah, we're going to circle back to that.
Because there's so many when you start reading them, and it's like they impact you in different ways. And I think one of the coolest part, I love self-help books. And my book is a self-help book as well. So it's
I need to know
I'll get you one. My book's called Unexpected: How to Persevere Beyond Your Limits.
Love it.
And it's all about the journey of really uncovering those challenges and how to persevere and take every no as one step closer to your yes.
Yeah,
and that's something that I just love reading about in different self-help books and other people's journey, because I think there's so many different parts of people's life in the doing that sometimes, we see the shiny object at the top, or we see, wow, this person's extremely successful, but what you don't see is when you peel back the layers and it's like, oh, here was a really big no that you got, and you actually conquered it and persevered through it and kept doing it, and then now you're on the other side of it.
And you bring up a great point, because, whenever I grew up in the church, I was I grew up serving the community, right? As youth leader and worship leader and all these things, and got married. And I never thought myself to be divorced, but life happens sometimes. There are things in our lives that happen beyond our control, or maybe what we would imagine. And then the question is, what are you going to do with it? And there was a moment where I was like, where people would call it the valley, right? You're like, what am I doing here? This isn't my life. And it's okay to be there for a season, but don't stay there. That's when we can, I think, prolong, the valley than what it really needs to be.
Yes.
And that's where a tribe comes in. Like, your people really need it. That's where having the right people alongside of you really matters. It's because we're all going to hit those moments and seasons in life where we're just kind of looking at ourselves in the mirror saying, wait a minute, what is going on?
Yes.
And you have to have those people around you who are going to challenge your thinking and challenge you to elevate and just persevere. And I love the title of your book.
Thank you.
Because it is all about, life is all about perseverance.
It is.
And then growing within that.
Yeah, there's so much to learn in those moments of challenges
Absolutely.
and valleys. When you're in one of those valleys that it was completely unexpected, what do you use to get through that?
So my faith is my foundation, 100%. And not to say my faith has wavered. You know, when I went through divorce, it kind of did waver because I was kind of like, well, where is God? You know, I didn't feel him close. And I'm like, you're all powerful. Why couldn't you force this thing to happen? You know, but we are human and we have choice. You know, that's what's the beautiful thing is that we all have a choice to make every day. And sometimes we're all going to make choices that we wish we didn't, and we did, and we just have to reconcile. But at the end of the day, the Bible has been my foundation to know how to live with integrity, with how to really love people where they're at, not to judge them based off what I feel like they should live, but where they're walking their life is, you know? So that's probably my foundation. If there's one book I'd have to take on an island, I'd probably take that one.
The Bible?
In case, just in case things got haywire. I'd be like, hold up, people, we need some rules.
I mean, it's the best book ever written.
You know,
so
I would
it
agree
gives us
with
all
you.
the rules that we need to know of how to be human and
A parent, a leader, employee, it's all there.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's the handbook. It's the handbook to life. So that's the book. Everybody go get the Bible if you don't have the Bible. That's the number
handbook
one.
to life.
The handbook to life. So one of the things that I really admire about you is you're a servant leader in your community. What is one way that you would describe servant leadership?
Leading with nothing in return and with humility. I always led wherever I was needed, wherever the need was. My passion has always been youth, children, like our next generation coming up.
Yes.
And then as I became a mom and then a woman, it's also kind of bled into women, you know, and how do women lead in their homes and in their community. But my passion is still the next generation, you know.
I love that. Okay, so one thing I just want to ask is, what is it like being a woman in politics?
Oh boy.
Loaded question.
It is a loaded question.
I'm just very curious, and I think, you know, we have a lot of faith-based female entrepreneurs who watch our show.
Yeah.
And I know they're wondering, and I'm wondering as well what it's like. So
it has its challenges, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It is very, it's challenging because, you know, it's politics. And there are people you're gonna have to work with that you may not agree or see eye to eye on, but you have to come to an agreement. And sometimes that can be challenging. I can say with the council that that I'm on with right now, one of our, and I've said this to the team, I'm like, one of our superpowers is our unity. And unity isn't that we always agree, by the way. There are lots of times we disagree because we're all different personalities. You have very strong personalities, and then you'll have people who are more quiet and they just kind of wait. But within that, at the end of the day, we can disagree and be like, no, you're wrong, I'm right. But it's 3 votes, and that'll happen sometimes. But outside, we always honor and respect one another. We do not talk badly behind each other's backs. And for me, politics, I think we've gotten in a place where it does get, unfortunately, ugly and pointing of fingers and looking for what's wrong with the people or the person or the politician. Yes. And I don't want to lead that way. So, you know, I want to lead with finding what works for us and what's the best for everyone all together. Amongst our differences, but it can be a challenge.
Oh, I'm sure. So how do you really find that center ground of what's best for everybody, not just the leaders, but really the community? How do you really know what the community is needing, wanting, and how can you really be that representative for them?
That's a great question, and I'm glad you brought it up because being in local government, it's so important. It actually impacts you more than national decisions, because it's your everyday life. It's where your kids go to school, how they're going to be impacted, you know, parks, what types of businesses are going to come in your city limits. So I encourage people that they need to get involved because if your voice isn't being heard, then it's very hard to, for your elected officials to speak on your behalf. So for me, it is taking a census of what are we hearing from our community? And a lot of times we don't hear anything until something happens, and then a whole bunch of people will come out of the woodworks, and you're like, whoa, where'd y'all come from?
Yeah.
Like, I want to hear y'all, but we need to hear y'all more, So I would encourage people that, it comes from a place of knowing what your community needs, and that can only happen if the community is sharing what their thoughts are.
Yes. Interesting. So currently, at the time of this recording,
Yes.
you are interim mayor.
Yes.
And you are running for mayor
Yeah.
as well. So what has that experience been like? And what is that one thing that you, or one or two things, doesn't have to just be one, but like what's your biggest, deepest passion for, if you do get this mayor position, that you are really going to spread throughout your community?
It's important to me to win to win this race, because it's going to be a continuation of what we've been working for. I've been on council for 2.5 years, and as most all of us know, in our own personal finances, our household, sometimes you have to look at the finances, and it takes a little while before you can actually go on that vacation, right? You have to plan it, right? That's personal level. Elevate that to a city level. When we first got in, our finances were out of whack. Everything was in one account. We had to get it all split up into 12. We're finally in a place now where we are starting to see those plans starting to come to fruition.
Yes.
And so my passion is to see them continue that way. And we have some great things with our parks, with streets, our water. Water's a big issue in Texas, but we have some amazing things that are happening, and I want to make sure that they come to fruition. Otherwise, all that time and money that we spent in the past 2.5 years could go to waste, and I would hate to see that happen, and it would set us back, in time.
I just love your heart with, just zooming out a little bit too, of just not even just in the community, but just as a whole. I just truly believe you would be and you are a leader for your community right now, but just even a more powerful leader for everybody, and just for our youth, for young women, and just being that role model. I just absolutely love seeing women leaders who are, we talked about this a little bit too off camera, where it's like more women need to have leadership positions. It just, there needs to be more.
Absolutely.
Because you have such a servant's heart, and when you have a servant's heart, God just blesses everything else around it.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for you, and I just feel so honored to be sitting here with you and having this conversation about your servant leadership, about community, the positive impact that you're making. Is there anything else that you would like to share with people, whether it has to do with politics or personal, just who you are as a person, so they know just your heart as a leader and a woman in business?
I think I would just want to encourage every woman out there, every man out there, every young adult, even every child, that the world is your oyster, and that is the truth. Like, we only see in part, and so I would really challenge you to see, or actually to ask. This is what I've actually learned. To ask, what is it that I need to do today? And just focus on today, because tomorrow will worry about itself, and it's definitely good to have vision for your life and have intention, but to also just see what today is all about and how you're going to impact today, and not to see it any smaller than what it needs to be, but to find the areas in your community and your family where you can lead. And I'm going to say this too. Women are incredible. We need our men. I am going to say that.
Yes.
We need strong men.
Amen.
I'm all about, there is a balance and there is a need for our men in this nation.
Absolutely.
But women, we create things. And my biggest encouragement to you would be, there is life or death in the power of the tongue, and women create life. And I want to encourage us as women to start speaking life over situations and into one another, and really seeing, how can I create something in this atmosphere today? Because there are times when we may walk in an atmosphere and we can all sense it. It's
Yes.
low.
Absolutely.
And we can be in control of that.
Yes.
And that's a powerful thing to think about. We can be in control of elevating our men in our lives, speaking life over them. And so I would put that challenge out to women, to step into that more, and let's create an incredible community around us, because we can definitely do that.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh, you've been such a gift today.
I had so much fun with you, Tori.
So grateful for our time together
me too.
here in Austin, Texas,
Yeah.
and in your city. I love it. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck on your
Thank you.
journey, and I'll be cheering for you, girl.
Woo! Okay, let's go.
Thanks for tuning in to the Tori Cruz Show. If today's episode inspired you, let's keep the momentum going. For our YouTube family, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you're always in the loop with our latest episodes. And for our podcast listeners, your ratings and reviews are incredibly valuable. They help us reach more people and continue bringing inspiring stories your way. Remember, this isn't just a podcast, it's a growing community of family. Every like, share, and review helps us grow on our journey together, helping us to highlight more impactful stories. Until next time, keep being the light for yourself and others. See you on the next adventure.